So, unfortunately, another lesson learned, although I don't think this one will be a very useful one. I just got my recording stopped without noticing it because there was an Amber Alert that came to my phone, and that apparently automatically disables the camera or stops the video recording. So I have no idea where it left off in my description of Mystra. I will eventually watch this when I get home, and I will. Girls, what's up? And I will fill in the blanks next time. That being said, I hadn't talked about Daisy yet, so let's talk about Daisy. She's the little one in the coat. She's obviously a new dash hound. We actually got her as quite a happenstance, unplanned at all. Although we had been looking for a partner in crime for Mystra for quite a while, my spouse and I. This little girl was bred and born at our neighbor's house, who bred these dogs. I will not for now go into the ethics of it, but let's just say that when we adopted Daisy at a little bit under 1 year old, she had already birthed and weaned off and sold off her entire first litter of puppies. So we ended up taking her in because our neighbor, the breeder, actually broke her leg and was not able to take care of Daisy because she was in the hospital. So we fostered her for a while, and to make a very long story short, she took to us, and the breeder, being an elderly woman who was moving out of town and who could not afford to risk stepping onto little Daisy with a recently broken leg, decided to part ways with her. So we bought Daisy because she got along well with Mystra and with us, and because otherwise we don't know what would have happened with her. But it was unplanned, and she definitely is a little daddy's girl, let's say. But more on that later. Lisa, this way. Now, hopefully I haven't doxed myself quite yet. This is the part that I was the most worried about because I'm pretty sure it's going to be pitch black. We'll see first of all if it is. Second of all, even if it is this something worth keeping on the recording? Or should I just scrap it? Or could I just take a break from recording this part of the walk and then resume filming later? We'll see. Because there are some pockets of light, and this could actually be nice, cool, atmospheric, or it could be complete crap. I don't know what it'll look like until I look at it. So, please feel free to let me know what you think. Also, if ever anyone actually watches this, if I post it, do I keep this part? And obviously I'm not talking about what I'm saying because it's a bit platitudes, right? But more the visuals. Anyway. Don't know if you can see, but there's a little bunny rabbit there. Both the dogs want to go get it. Usually Daisy barks and Mystra pulls. I don't know if you see any of this. Mystra is extremely strong. When we were rollerblading together, we topped out speed meters at 32 kilometers an hour, and I was the limiting factor because I wasn't able to keep up. She wanted to go faster. She's extremely strong and extremely fast. Although she is getting older, we have been together since 2016, and she was 2 years old back then, roughly. We don't actually know her actual birth date, nor her actual breed. Yeah, so she's getting into senior dog territory, but she's still got the pep and the bark. One thing I'm also wondering is how okay is it to have dead air? Is it okay if I take a few steps to gather my thoughts and just leave things running? Because I don't have a script. And it seems a little silly for someone who does this, but I've never really watched, just chatting or IRL type streams on Twitch. If ever and whenever I did watch Twitch, I was watching actual gaming, so I don't know how okay it is. I'm sure, since so far I don't think I've really given you a good reason to keep watching, other than the cute dogs, who have quite the personality. They're not really just cute, Mystra. And perhaps the nice-ish scenery. I don't know if you enjoy this type of stuff, or how rare or peaceful it is. Hey, there's water, going by. That's not really common if you live in an apartment in the middle of the city. So maybe that's the worth that I bring, a little peaceful stroll through a quiet part of town. I do plan on talking about more interesting stuff. This is really just the introduction. I should maybe say a little bit about myself to say what I mean by that, or what type of stuff I could talk about. Regardless of where I grew up and all that, I am a French Canadian, but I grew up near Montreal, on the south shore of Montreal, but I have been in the Canadian Armed Forces since I was 17, so now more than half my life, because I am 40 years old. So during that time, I have lived in every single province in Canada for at least 3 months, except for PEI, and so I've been around quite a lot. As I said, I'm in the military, so that is, and have been in the military for a very long time. I always, not to diminish things, but I always kind of smirk a lot of people who claim military experience were in for 3 to 4 years. But anyway, that's like saying, hey, I'll go on my resume and claim high school because I spent as much time there as I did in the military, so I'm a high school expert, right? Anyway, that's besides the point. I am in the Air Force. I'm an aerospace engineer. I have worked on some pretty crazy stuff, from, I'm not sure how much I should say about my job. Let's just say I've worked on billions of dollars worth of projects where I was writing the technical requirements for upwards of $1 billion worth of the value of that purchase, all the way down to teaching baby aerospace engineers. I've flown with the snowbirds, which are Canadian equivalent to the Thunderbirds or Blue Angels, except that we have 9 planes, and so they can do a lot more interesting formations. But anyway, that's besides the point. I've worked at the Canadian Space Agency. I actually have at home a patch that was brought to space, a mission patch that was brought to space by Chris Hadfield during his mission where he did the first ever Canadian spacewalk. I have that as a departure present, but so yeah, I've got a lot of experience in that domain. I've done a lot of other things during the pandemic, being in charge of engineers, aircraft technicians, etc. But skipping away from my job, when I was a kid, I was pretty good at most sports, I would say. I have competed at the national level in martial arts. I've been on several varsity teams, etc. Mostly soccer. I was a snowboard instructor when I was 16. Back when snowboard wasn't really a thing. We're talking before I started I started in the last millennium, I'll put it that way. Yeah, lots of sports, rock climbing, etc. As I get older, unfortunately I've injured myself a lot, so I can't do as much as I used to. Other than sports, I am a huge science guy. I'm a big geek nerd. I was a gamer before gaming was cool. I know everyone says that, but I did play Warcraft 2 when it came out. I remember my character in Diablo. In fact, my online handle to this day is still related to one of the first characters that I created back then. Video gaming nerd. I am a huge reader, science fiction, fantasy. I have played many board games. I was hacking back in Windows 95. Sorry, just remembering the GTMHH, the Guide to Mostly Harmless Hacking, where they would teach you crazy stuff like how to lock your boot sequence, how to change your Windows startup image, because no one knew how to do that. Mystra, side, come on. So, lots of gaming, lots of geek stuff. I read all of Robert Jordan back in the early 2000s. That's the Wheel of Time for those of you who don't know. Obviously, George R.R. Martin. I played WoW in the beta. I was in one of the best guilds in North America as the healer leader back then. Anyway, I won't keep going in my gamer and nerd cred. But that's a little bit about me. I play some music. Not as much recently, but I do like to listen to everything from metal, and I do mean metal like Children of Bottom and that type of stuff, to classical, and not just the Beethovens, the Bartoks and the Rachmaninoffs and all that, to the blues and jazz. I like complexity in music. What else is there? I'm sure there's more about me to say, but hopefully that's enough to get you interested. And on that note, I hope you enjoyed the first episode of the dog walk. Please leave, all the normal stuff, like, comment, subscribe, etc. Help me figure out how I can get this interesting. I will be talking about, philosophy and how Nietzsche blew my mind and all that stuff throughout the episodes. On that note, have a great one.